Darth Malgus was the fearsome Sith of legends, a great warrior who led the armies of the ancient Sith Empire and fought many of the galaxy's most famed individuals. But who exactly is this fierce Dark Lord?
My name is Darth Malgus. Time is short, so I will be blunt.
Now, since Malgus belongs in Legends in the Star Wars Old Republic, we need to understand that many things are different. Now, Malgus was born as Verdun on the world of Dromund Kaas. Now, this world acted as the home planet of the Sith Empire whilst it was building up its strength in hiding, preparing to make a return to the known galaxy and attack the Republic. Malgus' father owned a zoo, and the young boy would help tend the zoo, and one day killed a slave worker. He did this to prove himself worthy of being a Sith. Now, his family were very supportive of this, as to become a Sith was a great honour, and Malgus was sent to the Sith Academy on Dromund Kaas to learn of the ways of the Force and the dark side. After his training, Malgus was taken as apprentice to the pureblood Sith Lord named Vindican. Here, he was turned into an instrument of hatred. Malgus' combat style was very fierce. He hit very hard and incredibly quickly, often causing his enemies to stagger and instantly be put on the defensive. He was no mere brute, however. He was very apt in the ways of the Force, often utilising lightning as well as Force Maelstrom, which acted as a destructive shield, protecting him in a barrier of energy whilst ripping through his surroundings. However, as we will find out, one of Malgus' most useful traits was his endurance. Now, eventually the Sith Empire did make its return, and Malgus, as he had now become known, and his master were tasked with retaking the world of Korriban, the ancient Sith homeworld. Here, Malgus killed Jedi Master Chaos Sindarch and briefly duelled Satil Shan, who would become his arch-nemesis. During this battle, Vindican was injured, and when Malgus discovered his master was weak, in true Sith fashion, he killed him. 14 years later, Malgus was chosen to lead the Sith army's assault on Alderaan. At this point, he was Darth Malgus, a true Lord of the Sith. During this conquest, he would again face Satil Shan. During his duel, Shan sent Malgus flying through a cliff. Now, somehow he survived, and he was evacuated via a shuttle. However, after sensing the Jedi's presence in a local city, the injured Lord chose to jump from the shuttle and began hunting the Jedi down. You see what I mean when I said he had great endurance? His hatred was that strong for the Jedi, he didn't care if he was injured. Despite this, his injuries from here did force him to wear a rebreather for the rest of his days. Later in the war, the Empire chose to contact the Republic to bring about peace talks as it had reached a stalemate. However, the Sith had one last trick to play. They dispatched Malgus and a significant company of their military and fleet to attack Coruscant to be used as leverage during the negotiations. Malgus walked up the Jedi Temple steps, killing a few guards before reinforcements breached the walls by crashing a ship through the temple. Here, Malgus personally killed Jedi Master Ven Zalo, one of the greatest warriors in the Republic. Malgus stood for hours and watched the Jedi Temple burn to the ground. However, he was infuriated when he learned that the sacking of Coruscant would no longer continue. The Empire planned to occupy it and use it as leverage, and this wasn't what Malgus wanted. He wanted to see the Republic and Jedi burn. Shortly after this, Malgus also killed someone called Elana Daru. Now, this was a Twi'lek slave who Malgus had freed early on in his career. The two became lovers and were basically married, and this is possibly the closest Malgus ever got to anyone. However, Malgus believed that love made him weak, distracted him, and she could be used against him. And although he loved her, he knew that he could not hinder himself with love, and he executed her. Following this, Malgus was constantly reminded of the Twi'lek, and it made him angry, and this anger made him more powerful. It fueled his hatred, and his only weakness became one of his greatest strengths. Following the Treaty of Coruscant, which led to an uneasy peace between the Empire and Republic, Malgus became distant. He was a warrior, the head of great armies, but with no enemy to fight. He expanded into the unknown regions, however, his heart was still set on the Republic and Jedi. After the presumed death of the Sith Emperor Vitiate, and the constant Sith power plays, Malgus had had enough. He had defeated the greatest foes of the Empire, he had brought Sith victory to numerous worlds, and it had all been snatched away by a long-missing Emperor and a meddling Dark Council. It was time for a new empire in Malgus' eyes. Declaring the dawn of a new empire under himself, he urged the others in the Empire to do the same. However, he was overconfident this time. The Empire sent a strike team to Malgus' stealth command ship, where he was finally defeated. Now, officially, he was dead, thrown down a reactor shaft. However, it was reported that he was found frozen in carbonite and given to the Eternal Empire. Ultimately, Malgus was one of the most competent warriors of Legends, seconded only by his ambition. Although Malgus lives exclusively in the Legends era of Star Wars, I think that we would all love to see him return in some form to canon. But what do you think of Darth Malgus, and would you like to see him in canon? Thanks for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed. Please remember to like, sub and share, as it's really appreciated and helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to tick the bell to make sure that you're up to date on my latest videos, as YouTube's turned off a lot of people's notifications recently. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter @TheLoreGuy for regular updates. Thanks again for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video and learnt something new, and I'll see you next time.